Are you injured at all? Rest here. Let me give you a full examination. Just a scratch? Oh, you shouldn't say that. No matter how minor your injury, you mustn't ignore it. I won't take up too much of your time, I promise. Oh, I don't like it when people around me get hurt. It's so upsetting to see them in pain. But sometimes in life, fighting is inevitable. All I can do is pray and support everyone from behind by patching up the injured. And I have to do it with a smile, if only to keep people's spirits up.
Since we have some rest time, you should make sure to give your body and mind a proper break. Remember the relaxation technique I taught you previously? You know, the one where you blow your sleepiness into a balloon? Huh? Too much sleepiness for one balloon? Okay, fine. You can use mine instead. Come on. Imagine there's a huge balloon in my hands. Take a deep breath and blow. There you go. See? Now doesn't that feel better? In a funny way, what you're doing here in this domain reminds me of my dance practice at the Grand Bazaar. Maybe you dance with danger, and I dance for artistic reasons. But we both share the same desire to perform our best. Of course, this is your show. So in here, you lead and I'll follow.
I was expecting to see weird and wonderful things in this place. But so far, zilch. Ugh, no funky-looking critters with antennae on their heads. No plants full of funky-smelling juice. Even the monsters here are all ones I've seen before. If this carries on, I guess I can forget about trying to find any new cocktail ingredients here. Phew! Finally a chance to put our feet up. Here, drink this. It's water with some salt and nectar in it. It makes a great recovery drink after intense exercise. The flavor is nicely balanced, with a touch of salt to offset the sweetness. Go ahead, take a sip, and you'll feel a burst of energy, plus a boost to your mental clarity. Actually, you know what? Forget all that. Just try it for yourself.
There's no rush to get to the next battle. It's critical to fully recover your strength if you want to stand the best chance of securing victory. Why don't we take some time to review the enemy threat and fine-tune our plan of attack? In my experience, the more thorough the plan, the sweeter the satisfaction when it all finally comes together. Even if an enemy is strong enough to fend me off for today, that doesn't faze me. Sooner or later, they will get their comeuppance. My vengeance may not always be swift, but it is always final. In your case, though, I seriously doubt there are many enemies out there who have what it takes to send you away bearing a grudge.
Whenever my mind becomes agitated, Master encourages me to sit, meditate, and let go of all troubling thoughts. If I lose touch with the real me inside, all that's left is the urge to slay, which makes me a risk to everyone around me. I do not wish to see that happen. I have heard that books harbor the author's emotions. If I spend some time reading them, will it help me understand human emotions better? Do you have any recommendations?
I don't know if the thought of the battles ahead is troubling you, but if so, I do have one suggestion to make. We should make sure we're well rested before we proceed. We could find a safe spot to have an afternoon nap, for example. I always strive to do things perfectly, but so often I find that the harder I push myself, the more mistakes I end up making. Over the centuries, many people and things I was once so close to have slowly faded away. Human lives are short, and sometimes it can feel like nothing of a person's legacy survives. But there was one time I was listening to a storyteller. To my surprise, their new tale was all about the life of one of my old friends. As the storyteller spoke, I could almost hear my dear friend's voice and laughter again, and scenes from the past seemed to flash before my eyes. I guess this is why humans like to write stories.
Whenever I'm reading a story, I like to picture it vividly in my mind. In the theater of my imagination, the scene plays out in full color. I can see the expressions on the characters' faces, hear their words, feel the cadence of their speech. Text on the page is transformed into a spellbinding show, and I watch with bated breath to see where each person's story will take them. So you see, I'm not just another celebrity. I've got solid directing chops, too. This is woeful. I am Fontaine's biggest star. Where is the pomp and circumstance? Well, never mind. I suppose I could do with a short break. One has to replenish one's blood sugar to deliver an ideal performance, after all.
I, for one, definitely need some rest. I'm aching all over. But you should sit yourself down and take a rest too, you know. The chance won't come by very often. And who knows how long it'll be before we reach the end of this domain. We simply have to conserve our strength. That much is indisputable. Oh, don't give me that look. I can't give you any astrology-based advice in here. What do you mean, why not? Look around you. Do you see any starlight in here? My scryglass has been completely undecipherable since the moment we arrived. But I can still be of assistance in other ways, of course. My profound powers of prediction extend beyond astrology. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I just found a fairy tale in one of these books that the old hag told me once. She said that she was the one who wrote it and no one else in the whole world knew the story. So, that was just another one of her tall tales, Oh, and you know what else she did? She handed it to me, saying she wanted to give her disciple a gift that was the only one of its kind in the whole world. I cannot believe that woman.
Stories from other lands are something new and precious to me. I cherish the opportunity to read them during our rest time. I hope I can finish them. Look at all the wonderful printing and the beautiful illustrations. Oh, could we read some stories together? Only if you want, of course. There's a lot of interesting details I want to share with you. Sometimes I worry that if I'm not careful, I might make a mistake that ends up putting you in even more danger. Once that thought enters my head, I start losing confidence in myself about the battles ahead. But I am determined to overcome my fears and focus on doing all I can when I'm fighting by your side.
I used to use my rest time to review documents, but, well, that was when we were at war. Given that there's no time pressure here, I prefer to take things at a slower pace and make sure to rest and recover my energy in between battles. After all, exhaustion is one of the deadliest enemies you can encounter on the battlefield. It's a rare treat for me, being able to read undisturbed in a quiet place like this. On Watatsumi Island, as the Divine Priestess, every action I take is the subject of scrutiny and speculation. I have to show some restraint so that my personal preferences don't unduly influence everyone else. But here, I feel like I can relax a little. You won't mind if I suddenly laugh out loud while I'm reading, will you?
Oh, so it's not time for the battle yet? If you aren't busy, let's do some stretches together. We mustn't forget to stretch, because otherwise... I forgot why. The mission is defeat the monsters inside this domain. Order received. Order noted. Oh yeah, one more order. Don't forget about the mission.
Oh, are you going further in?
Take me with you, please. I'm sure there'll be plenty of challenges for us to face. But if there's a chance of discovering the truth behind this place, it'll definitely be worth the risk.
I find this place very relaxing. I suppose it all comes down to the atmosphere here. It is quiet, but not desolate. And I must say the interior is most suitably furnished. I would go so far as to say that the owner has superb taste. This is not the first battle, nor will it be the last. The battle must go on until the moment you have reached your goal. This is a test of endurance, quality I find most admirable in those who possess it. Working a job requires endurance too. Yes, quite true, quite true.
A safe house, huh? I'm not a fan of using safe houses that I haven't personally vetted and kitted out. But this is better than nothing. Exploring this domain is one heck of a big job. Even if I wanted to get it over and done with in one go, looks like neither the rules of this place nor my stamina would allow it. You should conserve your energy too. Don't run yourself ragged. It's not worth it. We've still got quite a few punishing battles ahead of us, don't we? You ready? If life gets too dull for too long, I start to feel numb inside. I need some excitement to make me feel alive. Why don't I roll the dice? If I like the numbers I roll, we'll keep going. Could be a fun way to liven things up around here. There are real people and real events out there that are more incredible than anything you'll find in fiction. Shame no one will ever be allowed to write a book about it. Curious? What if I told you that the things I'm referring to, no one will ever be allowed to talk about either? Okay, we can chat about something that isn't top secret information if you want, but we'll still have to go somewhere a little more private.
I just had a brief look around. I quite like that hat on the coat rack. It's a nice color, and pretty stylish, too. I would have quite liked to try it on if this was a marketplace. But since it probably counts as lost property, I'll have to be content to admire it from afar. I will show no mercy to any who threaten my companions. So, whatever evils dwell within this domain, you need not fear. My spear and my shield are at your command. That is my duty as guardian.
There is a vast collection of books here. I took a moment to browse through earlier and found a good number worth reading. If you're not presently occupied, why not take a seat? I'll fetch a few good books, and you can see if there are any you like. A fine book on a busy day can provide a much-needed escape, even if just for a moment. This little book is truly exceptional. The gripping plot is one thing, but the characters? Wow, they're so well-rounded. They really break the mold. I can't thank you enough for inviting me to this incredible place. The next time I find a good novel, I'll make sure to get a copy for you.
Do you want to know the trick to drinking hard liquor? It's all about pacing yourself. Take a small sip, then give your taste buds some time to rest. The burning sensation spreads to your lips, then the aftertaste kicks in. Once you can take a breath in without tasting anything, then you can take your next sip. Stick to that pace, and even Death Afternoon loses its power over you. I like to think that the same principle applies in combat. Launching a direct offensive doesn't sound like the wisest strategy when we're up against powerful beings. That said, I'd sure like to spectate and see how things play out. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. I'm supposed to be one of the ones doing the fighting. All right, don't worry. I'll start taking this seriously.
You're assembling a team with the goal of defeating all enemies within this domain, right? Sounds like what I do best. Count me in. Shouldn't we get a move on? Don't let it get too late. You know what my thoughts are on overtime. If you've got any work planned for this evening, I politely decline.
I just finished some extremely grisly work, so I at least need to give myself a little break first. What kind of grisly? I intend to keep that to myself. Nothing to be happy about, that's for sure. The less you know, the better.
Mondstadt has changed so much in the short time I've been gone. Oh, I don't mean that I don't like the way things are now. I guess I just get a little nostalgic for the days I spent with the Grandmaster's expeditions sometimes. I wonder where they're all up to now. And whether they need any new maps. A preliminary survey must be performed before delving into a domain. But here, if you don't mind resting here for a while more, I might be able to go and gather some useful intelligence. I'm nowhere near as good in combat as the others, but I want to make sure I do my part.
These fairy tale books are fascinating. They're pretty different from the ones I usually read. This is a rare opportunity. Should I try to memorize them? Or should I grab some pen and paper and copy them down? A new mission could crop up at any time. I'd better hurry. If you don't mind me asking, when's the next mission starting? I know we're resting, but I feel a little anxious when there's nothing to do. I kinda wanna put my helmet on, or maybe go sit in a quiet corner. Is that okay?